What's going on, you guys? Back again with another video. Here, I'm doing a low taper. If you've seen in my previous videos, I do like to debulk my entire area before I go in and start fading up. Because I do like to just use the blades only, like just lever open, lever close, no guides on there. And if you don't know what a guide is, that's the attachment to help you cut out a certain length. Here you'll see me just creating a base right now. Since I did go in with the one to create the foundation for it, I'm just trying to find a smooth spot for that low taper to begin that, just so that dark transitions into the skin. And then when I do go in a little lower, here I'm closing it up all the way. I can still have like a rough draft to know where I shouldn't go higher than. And since these aren't zero gap, I did eventually follow it up with a zero gap pair of clippers as well. You see I'm flicking out this line. It's kind of danky because his hair is curly, so it's pretty hard to just like get in one pass or a couple passes. Using a little clipper of a comb work, knocked it right out. Now I'm going in with my other adjustables. These are cordless, and the blade is zero gap, so it's allowing me to create that skin transition a little better. Because since it is a low taper, I do want to keep the curve on there to where it hangs instead of just burst, if that makes sense. So here I'm locking it in with some holding spray. As you can see, I got another little dividend, so I just flicked at that with my osters. And went back in and do a little more refining. I'm only showing the right side of this cut because I did do the left, but it was just like, what's the point? I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a lot of time. My videos do be kind of long too. But yeah, I do be trying to get everything, like everything knocked out right then and there. But here you can see I'm going in for that nape lining. I did do the back taper already, and it looks pretty tight. Like I said, we keeping everything low and then still making it look exaggerated, even though it doesn't have to be. So now going in, this is the style where I said I wasn't showing. This is the taper that's already done. I'm just edging the back up a little bit, you know what I mean? Just trying to clean up that area before I go in and start making hard lines, if that makes sense, because I like to keep everything neat. Sometimes I might go back a little later and neaten it up, tighten it up, but usually I like to keep everything neat just so that I don't have to really go back and do too many steps afterwards. And like I said, I'm just cleaning up the lines, trying to make that nape a little tighter and symmetrical with the right side. That's a big thing as well. Whenever you're doing them neck linings, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes one side be all the way to the center of their head, the other side be right behind their ear. Like, come on, bro, we gotta do better. You know what I mean? You gotta make them things symmetrical. Trying to get both of them as symmetrical as possible. Now I'm finna find out where I'm going to be knocking down this edge up. So in the consultation, we did already discuss what we were going to do with it. And that simply is just knocking it down and edging it up from that new growth. It is kind of hard finding a section, especially with long hair. You do want to take your time with it and comb out those ends, because the ends going to hang lower than everything else. And if you don't comb them out all the way, they can either curl back up or get caught up in something and make the edge up look like it's not even there. So, you want to go back and make sure you clean that up a little bit. Definitely. So since it got everything shaped up, or at least separated, now just knocking it down. It's not the official length, but it's just what I'm doing to get it to where I want it to be at, just so I can know like everything is even. And I didn't really get it in the camera all the way, so here's like a slight part of the edge up. And like I said, I am working on my camera skills a little more, especially just trying to be behind the camera, record, then edit and all that other stuff. I notice in the editing process, sometimes I be standing in front of the camera either too much or my cinematic is on, and it's it's always something, you know what I'm saying? So here, you know what I'm saying, it's a little bit, you can see a little bit, but this how I'm getting them, you know what I mean? I'm getting them right. That curve looking superb, and this edge up is really flowing together because he did have a lot of hair already. And with the process, sometimes you could take off a little too much, but I was able to keep just enough. And his hair does grow differently. I don't know if that's just head shape or just the way his hair is growing, you know what I'm saying? But I did try to line everything up. He did want to keep it dark but still natural, so we didn't go into any any corners too heavy or anything like that. Everything was just like a light, smooth taper. And I say it transitioned pretty well. You can see it looks super burst from there. I think this is the full video. It's probably like 30 plus minutes maybe. But, you know what I mean, you got to trim it up. You know what I'm saying? He had a nice widow's peak, so you have to try to clean that up real fast. And I wasn't going to go in with the razor. Usually I don't use them on kids or teenagers. But I was just like, well, you know, usually if I see a widow's peak or something like that, I instantly just make sure it's gone for the time being till it's ready to grow back. I'm still trying to align everything. You want to make sure you stand in front of them sometimes, because standing on the side can kind of just give you a side view. And even though a side profile is good, you want to see what it look like, you know what I'm saying, right in front of their faces. So now we're going in for this shave, and I ain't gonna lie to you, this was probably the best part of the cut, because you see it's looking butter like already, and it was already looking like that before the razor came out, but now it's just like, okay, you can really see that thing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just making sure it's symmetrical. I really have a hard time with not going over stuff too much, because I be wanting it to be perfect from every viewpoint. And that's what I really pride myself on when I do cut hair. Stretching that skin, pulling against it at the same time. That's gonna get you every time. You could work twice as hard or twice as less. And I feel like it's less harder to stretch the skin and pull back at the same time. Like every time you go towards that line, you stretch the skin at the same time, and that's gonna get you right every time. And I hope you guys enjoyed the cut. This is Jay the Barber. Stay tuned for more content.